In search of sanity. Hello, thanks for once again allowing LilyBell to take you beneath the crust, where I talk about what you're afraid to think about. I'm so glad you're back. Great for rising. Another test? Let's study on it. Every time I turn around, there's a bill or committee to study something concerning black people. The chosen study now is the U.S. House Bill 40. What I'm reading now is taken from an online article. The link to it is listed. February the 25th, 2025, Washington. Today, as the nation witnesses an unprecedented onslaught against diversity, equity, and inclusion's DEI initiative from the Trump administration, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, it says MAO7, I guess it's Maine, Maryland, MA. No, Maryland would be MD, but anyway, MAO7, you figured out. And Senator Cory Booker, Democrat, it says DN, so he's a Democrat, are announcing the reintroduction of H.R. 40 legislation to establish a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy of slavery and develop reparation proposals for African Americans descendant of enslaved people. The bill, which comes during Black History Month, is a powerful counterweight to the harmful action taken by Donald Trump and a call to action for Americans to address the systemic oppression of black people throughout its history. Now, this is the end of the reading. Okay, now I'm going on to something else. U.S. House Bill 40 was previously also proposed by Sheila Jackson Lee in January 2023 before death in 2024. Now, I'm still reading from a site. This is a different site. The link to this site would be in the comments as well. The 40 number in U.S. HB 40 refers to the unfulfilled promise the United States made to free slaves after the Civil War. They would get 40 acres and a mule. The pattern. Now this LilyBell. Now the pattern is to talk and talk some more about something. Never do anything but talk. This is done because many black people, as long as they're being acknowledged, they feel they've accomplished something. They acknowledged us. They studied us. Now look at the pattern. I'm reading from another website. The Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals for African Americans Act is an act of Congress in the United States introduced in 1989 by Representative John James Conyer Jr. The act aims to create a commission to examine the merits of introducing reparation to African Americans for U.S. slavery. Juneteenth 2019 saw the House Judiciary Subcommittee on the Constitution, Civil Rights, and Civil Liberties conduct a hearing on this issue in what was seen as a historic sitting, given the previous reparation discussion in that venue. It took place in 2007. Representative John James Conyer Jr. died in October 2019, having sponsored the U.S. HB 40 Act each and every legislation session from 1989 to 2017. He did it in 2007, 2019, 2017, 2023, and now it's being introduced in 2025. Now let's go back to 1967. I'm not reading from a website now. Let's go back to 1967. 22 years before Representative John James Conyers Jr. and the Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposal for African Americans Act is an act of Congress in the United States introduced in 1989. Let's go back to 1967. Now, this was 22 years before Representative John James Conyers Jr. and the Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals for African Americans Act is an act of Congress in the United States introduced in 1989. So we're going to go back to 1967. The Kerner Commission, Kerner, the Kerner Commission. Reading from an article again. The Kerner Commission, also known as the National Advisory Commission on Civil Disorder, was established by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1967 to investigate the cause of racial unrest in American cities and to recommend ways to prevent future riots. President Lyndon Johnson established the National Advisory Commission on Violence and Civil Rights Disorder, better known as the Kerner Commission, to examine the cause of the racial unrest in Detroit and other American cities. Johnson asked the commission to answer 3 key questions. 1. What happened during the riots? 2. Why did the riots occur? 3. What could be done to prevent riots from happening in the future? What did the Kerner Commission conclude? The Kerner Commission concluded that the main cause of violence was white racism and suggested that white Americans bore much of the responsibility for black rioting and rebellion. According to the Commission report, the United States was socially and economically divided. The Commission warned our nation is moving toward two societies, one black, one white, separate and unequal. In addition to Newark and Detroit, the group surveyed uprisings in 23 cities. The Kerner Commission cited numerous grievances as triggers for unrest, for civil unrest. This was in 1965. I'm not reading anymore. This was from 1965. Let's see how they hold up true now in 2025. This is what the Kerner Commission said about the triggers for civil unrest. 1, discrimination in policing practices. 2, the justice system. 3, consumer credit practices. 4, inadequate housing and public assistance programs. 5, high unemployment. 6, the exclusion of communities of color from the democratic progress. Back to the article. The Kerner Commission gave their conclusion and made recommendations. See, that's what the article says. So isn't that what's going on now? You see the pattern? These findings and recommendations came from the Kerner Commission that President Johnson commissioned. Even though President Johnson commissioned the Kerner Commission to study why riots were being held, he rejected the Kerner Commission's findings. I go more in depth on the recommendation and the findings in the full presentation. It's called Studying Black Folks. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Support our youth. Reach out to the young brother who dropped the beats. Spacemanfalcon at gmail.com. Support our youth in any way you can. Keep on churning till the butter comes. Richardson, a black man, patent the butter churn U.S. patent number 446470, February 17th, 1891. I'm LilyBell. I'm just trying to create a dialogue. I leave you with this. If they close my book, you remember my story. Black man, you once again fell for the okie doke. Why did you do it? A Nat Turner Runner production. Lock and load. LilyBell. Be encouraged.